How's it going? It's 220 Prepper, and I got another video for y'all today. So, I was on YouTube earlier, and I was looking up budget guns, just seeing what kind of ideas are out there. And I came across the Maryland Refugees page, and he has a video called the $120 zombie gun. So, I figured I'd go and check it out. And he went to a pawn shop and picked up a Marlin 36A lever action. And it was pretty beat up, which is one of the reasons it was $120. But he picked it up, and it's a solid gun. However, it's chambered in 30-30, which is a decent-sized hunting round. The problem is that 30-30s are roughly about $1 per round. So it got me thinking, and this isn't the first time I've heard of this. I heard of people getting, budget guns that are really cheap, but the caliber is a caliber that's expensive to shoot. And I was like, that kind of defeats the purpose. I mean, to me, it defeats the purpose, because the purpose of a budget gun is a gun to have that is not expensive. So whether it be you don't have a lot of money, you just need something, or whatever the case may be, the gun itself should be cheap, which is what that gun was. But to me, I'm kind of wondering why you would get a gun that costs $1 per bullet, because in the long run, that isn't budget friendly. In the long run, that doesn't really save you much. So, I'd rather have a $900 AR-15 that shoots 5.56 than a $120 gun that shoots 30-30, and that's simply because that 5.56, and this is just an example, that 5.56, I've seen prices as low as 19 cents a round. So it doesn't make sense to me that you would get a gun that is cheap but expensive to shoot. And I'm not saying go out and buy a $900 AR-15. I'm saying find a budget gun, or to me, I'm suggesting that a budget gun should be cost effective as well as far as ammo is concerned. I would rather have a gun. I'd rather pay a little bit more, not too much more, but a little bit more, and I'd be able to shoot because the ammo isn't expensive. I can go and pick up a Mosin Nagant for a little bit more than that 120. And this video it's a couple years old, so cost of inflation is probably a bit higher now, but still, I could go and pick up a Mosin Nagant for not much more money than that, and the ammo be cheaper than that 30-30 round. And, the way that I see it is a budget gun should have not budget ammo, but inexpensive ammo as well. It doesn't make sense for me to get a gun that is not very expensive if I'm going to put all this money into ammo and not really use it. I mean, it's not that I'm not using the ammo, but I can't buy that much ammo because the ammo is expensive. I'd rather get, using that $120 price, I'd rather get a gun that's about $200, $250 if my bullets are only going to cost me 25-50 cents a shot. I mean, that's just what it is to me. It's like the hidden cost of a budget gun. You've got ammo and accessories. Now, granted, with a lever action, the only thing most people throw on there is a sling, and some people will probably throw in maybe a saddle holster, a saddle for extra shells and a scope, as opposed to like an AR-15 or AK, where you can customize it however you want to. But either way, there's still more things that go into these guns that you're buying. And that's what a lot of people don't think about when, or at least in my experience, a lot of people don't think about when purchasing a budget firearm, is the cost of ammo and accessories and things such as that. I mean, extra magazines goes into it as well. And it's just things that people don't always think about that eventually will drive up the cost of the gun. So, to me, I think it would be better not to necessarily get a budget gun that has. I mean, I'm definitely for the idea of a budget gun. But me personally, I look at the cost of ammo as well because I won't get a gun that is so cheap, but the ammo is the most expensive ammo around. I personally wouldn't do that because that isn't budget friendly to me. And that's just where I stand on this. And I notice a lot of people, like I said, I noticed a lot of people doing similar things to that. And I just wanted to kind of point that out for a lot of people and bring it to people's attention that there's more to a budget gun. I mean, there's more to any gun in all actuality, but there's more to a budget gun than the price of the gun itself. You need to factor in all the other things, including if you're going to like a pawn shop, because any gun, most of the guns you're going to get there are already beat up. And some people don't care about the aesthetics, some people do. And if you're one of the people that cares about the aesthetics, then you have to factor in the cost of restoring that gun. And so that also drives up the initial cost. So if you were to buy that $120 gun and then spend $80 fixing it back up, and then another $30 on a sling, $20 on a saddle, and still going with a budget optic, another $180 to $100 on an optic. Well, that's all money that you could have somewhat avoided. I mean, the restoration alone, you could have just put in, and that brought your price up to $200, which puts you in the range of other firearms. And then you've got the cost of ammo. It's just a lot of things goes in to buying a budget gun, and the things that people need to consider when they are purchasing budget firearms. Because what are you going to do when you go out and buy that $120 gun and you're trying to find a box of ammo, and instead of it being a box of 50, you've got a box of 20, and it's still $20 instead of a box of 50 for like 30. So it's just something that I wanted to bring to your attention. This is 220 Prepper, and I am signing off.